Hello there, my name is Jasmine, Princess Lumiuni, or Lumiuni for short. For today's tutorial, I'm actually going to be teaching you butterflies and windmills. This is going to be for the novice whipper to the most advanced whipper. Today we're going to be using two types of brands, Glofx and the Fiberflies. So if you have either of those two whips, you're in store. Those are the whips I will be using. We will be using single, double, and poi. So those are going to be the most versatile ways that I can do windmills with each prop. So if you stay tuned, you'll be able to learn how to do it with a single, how to do it with a double whip, or how to do it with a poi. And then lastly, special at the end for a double staff whip windmill. So there's a little bit of learning for everyone. So let's go ahead and do the butterfly. So our first movement is going to be to the butterfly. So you are going to take your hands up like you're going to be stretching, and you're going to cross one arm, preferably the right over the left and down. So keep doing this and down. Keep doing this and down. Do about a few of these, maybe 10 reps, just to get the motion together. This is something that is going to be completely essential, so the motion itself is going to help you with understanding the butterfly. So in this process, you're learning that there is only one crossing, which is your right is going over, and your left is going behind. So bear that in mind. So when you're doing a butterfly, you're gonna have one end of the whip handle, which preferably is always in my right hand, and then the fiber ending is gonna be on my left. Doing the same exact motion, just doing that. So eventually you can do it smaller, and then you can do 10 of those, so you feel the motion. And then eventually you'll get it down to your wrists. So let me do that with the single whip. So we're going to be using the Fiberflies Rev4. So the Fiberflies is the single whip I'm going to be demonstrating. So with that same action, you can take in the long flies and do that. Do that movement that I taught you. One hand is going across and the one left is going behind. Across and behind, across and behind. Do that a couple times until you feel a little bit more comfortable doing the movement, and then eventually you can be doing it right behind each other. You get it down to the wrists. It makes it a little easy. A little kind of way that I like to do it is I like to kind of keep a nice little smaller curl. So as I'm doing the butterfly, I'm holding the excess of my whip in one hand, as small as I can, so I can do that. Just gives it a little bit more of a cleaner feel. I could do it bigger, but the fibers tend to run against each other. And we are in the frontal plane, so everything that is going to be in front of you is basically this. You can do it also behind you. This is the dark wall plane. Anything that's behind you. If you are comfortable, you may also do the butterfly above you, and then eventually get behind you and forward, behind you and forward. So same concept, just it takes a little bit of practice. Just for now, do that big old motion where you're crossing. If this is the easiest for you, you're more than welcome to do this. This still looks pretty great. If you want to do smaller, like I said, grab the excess if your whip is pretty lengthy. Because I'm 5 feet, this is 6 feet tall. I got 3 feet of arm space on each side, so I want to make it as close to my arm length as I can. So that's where I'll do this, where it looks a little bit more clean and solidified. So that's with the single whip. With the poi whip, which is Glofx, These are going to be 3 feet in length, and they are also covered by Pixel Fairy sleeves. So super grateful for that. And this is completely customized. Alright, so we have colors going. So the same concept where one is going like that. You can do a big butterfly as with the same motion where you're crossing. Well, for me, when I'm doing poi butterflies, I believe, yes, it is still right over the left. And if it's going inwards, I do cross my left over or right. Yeah, so for the poise, it's actually in the left hand that I'm actually crossing over as opposed to the right. It's just a little bit easier for me to follow across, so that way I don't hit the other poi whip, because it just makes it a little easier. As you can see, it's not every time that I get it right. There's sometimes that they will smack. You just got to give that enough room where they will not intertwine. Because fibers are fibers, they do their own thing as they're moving through gravity and space. They tend to react to gravity and space. They're gonna go where they want to go, and you can give them a general direction of where you want them to go. So it looks like my left is moving over my right. So continuing this movement, then over the right is gonna go just under it, and eventually get them close enough together where they don't crash into each other. And like I said, it's not every time, it's still progress. So that's what the double poi whip. Just get as closely as you can. If you want, you can always stick out one arm and bring the left behind, and you can do that big circle, but they don't even hit each other as much, which is a little bit easier and still looks like the butterfly. So you have options. Okay, so I am going to be grabbing the single whip, and I'm going to teach you the flick, which is kind of similar to a 2-beat weave, where the thumb is leading and you're going in front of your body, across your body, in front of your body, across your body, in front of your body, across the body. Once that becomes natural, it's good for beginners to see exactly which direction that they're going before they reverse it. This is counterclockwise, and for the sake of how I'm going to be teaching you the weave, it's actually going to be counterclockwise with the back going forwards, going in front first. So as soon as you get this to a point where you feel comfortable and you're no longer looking at it, try facing forward and getting used to the fact that the whip is going in front. Dominant direction for this is kind of like home. This is home base when it comes to the direction of where we want our goes, counterclockwise. And for the clockwise version, you are going to start going back, forward, back, forward, back, forward, back, forward. Still doing the same thing. Do a 90-degree angle and do this for a little bit until you get more comfortable looking straight on, knowing that the dot and dark plane, which is right behind you, and frontal plane, that the whip handle is swooshing behind you, and you are comfortable with that. Start doing the opposite direction where it's going back, forward, back, forward, back, forward, back, forward. And then that'll be a little easier for you to start that for the windmill. So for the sake of this being super long for what I need, I am going to shorten it out, and we are going to back, forward, back, forward, back, forward, back, forward. Now, for the clockwise version, behind you, first going from behind, forward, back, forward, back, forward, back, forward. With that, opposition comes into play, so you're going back, the left hand's going to be going forward, And then when you return back to the front with your right hand, the left hand's going to be going the opposition, going back. So essentially the left is just doing more of the chasing, the right is doing a lot of the work. It's a little bit less dense towards the end of the fibers, so it's a little easier for you to kind of do this little flick action. So for that, for the sake of the flick action, you are actually going to be going clockwise. As far as how it looks for the windmill, let me shorten this out for me. This might be a little too long. Okay, so this is a very lengthy whip, so bear with me. So for the windmill, I'm going to start off with the flick going in a direction towards the right for the counterclockwise direction. So away from me, it's going to go behind first. So you're going to see that. It's going to go behind me and then follow. It's kind of like one's going in front, one's going in back. One's going in front, one's going in back. If you're right hand dominant, my biggest suggestion is, like I said, is to continuously practice that flick where it's crossing, making that X pattern to the point where you can look straight on instead of looking at your fiber head. Like I said in the beginning, you might want to do this for a while until it becomes so natural where you can start kind of looking at away and not have to worry the whip that's in the dark plane hitting the back of your head. It's always a fear that's going to happen. Not saying that it's never going to hit your head. It does every once in a while. I get swacked in the head. But it's more confidence, comfortability, and just practice. So for that to be said, let's do that clockwise motion. I am going to be swinging to the back, forward, and I kind of drop it to make it easier, so it's really back, down, back, down, back, down. And then the whip fibers on the ends are just doing kind of like a chase where it's following. Same exact movement in the same direction following. So like I said, so clockwise, over, back, over, back, over, back, over, back. So front, back. This is going back, front. I believe this might be a little bit easier for you guys to see. Let me see if I have enough space so I can show you. So back, forward, back, forward, back, forward, back, forward. And then this way, in different perspective, is going to be back, forward, back, forward, back, forward, back, forward. There you go. That's with the single whip. For the double whip, poi whip, it's going to be a little different. They're going to be spaced out because now you're not connected by one giant bunch of fibers. Same concept though. Flick of the wrist, making those X's, and then the going into the clockwise direction is I'm going to swing and generally have that same movement. So with the poise, the fibers are going to move around, like I said, in that space and gravity. So you're going to kind of give the fibers a way to move, and these are swivels. Personally, what I like to do is to not have so much movement, is to kind of pinch them as I'm doing it. So the swivel is kind of stopped as I'm doing this. So give yourself that area of back and forth, and then back and forth, back and forth. Those 90-degree angles are important. And then making sure that you are able and then the other side. Oh, sorry, swing clockwise. There. And that's how you do it with the double. There is double with the sleeves option, where the fibers don't hurt as much, which is great. Same concept. This is why I have 3 feet, because there's not enough room sometimes. Yeah, so back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. It's all in your wrists. It's all in the wrists. And then, oh yeah, the last part of it is the mini dual staff, which is by Glofx. There is a connecting piece that creates the staff portion of it. So this is, you would have to buy the connector in order to make this, and or purchase the dual poi staff. They come apart, they become poi, you put them together, they become a staff, like a whip staff. These are sleeved by Pixel Fairy. These were customized to my specifications for my sleeves. I have 4 of these, as you can tell, one without, one with, and they are both double, so I actually have a quad double staff to be continued in the future, to be showcased later. But for now, as far as windmills go, we are doing action for kind of like a twirl. So right, back and front towards you, down, right, back towards you, down. So you're kind of making a continuous rolling kind of pattern at the same time, like creating more like creating an S as opposed to an X. Right, cross, over, cross. Okay, so right, out, in, out, right, out, in, out. I think that's the right, out, back out, and forward. Let's try that. Right, aha. Okay, so right, inwards to bring it forward, out to bring it forward again. So I'm trying to do this in every direction so it's easy to follow, but this is, as you're doing it, you'll realize that it's in the wrist, and the same thing applies. Back to that. If it makes it easier to hold your fibers like the way that I'm doing it until you can get a handle on how the motion goes, that's completely fine. Eventually, the motion will be so repetitive and tiring that you'll get it. But for the most part, it's mostly arm. Oh, it's very dependent on your elbow, your arms, your elbows, your wrists. So it's a real workout. I feel like I'm, getting some muscles here. And just we're looking for the whips not to hit you in the face necessarily. When it's a lot closer to me when it's in the frontal plane, which is why I opted to get sleeves, because they can be very, very, very hurtful, especially when smacking you right in the face. Just because they're shorter, they're a lot closer to you. So sleeving your whips is amazing. It's also very beneficial to secure and protect your financial investments. Whips are expensive, they're costly. Depending if you get the mega heads, fiber heads, I take care of them like they're my children, so I do promote and take care of them as much as I can as possible. Out of many whips, I've only ever really damaged at the beginning when we all start. So it's always good and safe to make sure that you take care of your whips as much as you can. Alright, so back to this windmill. Frontal plane, back plane, frontal plane, back plane. It's like a rock. Clockwise, over, clockwise, back over. It's kind of like a cheat because over your head you're doing the whole movement, and the back of it is just swinging behind ever so gently. So it's almost like you're not necessarily doing a whole back and forth. You could cheat it, like I said, where it almost looks like I'm not even, most of the whip is behind me, not necessarily the entire thing. It'd be weird to do something like that. That's a little uncomfortable. So it's just ever so slightly right over your head. But when you do it, the windmill enough with that movement and that practice, it's gonna come a lot easier for you to do this. All right, I hope you enjoyed. Thank you for joining me today. If you have any questions, give me a shout out on Dancing with Lightning. I'm there to help and support you. And I hope you enjoyed my tutorials.